This is the last subtopic you ever see. Why does it exist? Well, you just need to include all the details that you didn't include in other parts of question 1. Additional details carry 6 marks. So I'm going to go through a couple of things. We've already covered the safety precautions, for example. They actually fall under additional details. You get a D1 mark for safety precautions. I talked about relationship is valid. That point, that's also a D2 mark, another D mark, right? Detail mark. So D1, D2. I'm just ranking them. Don't get confused a little bit there. So I'm going to take you through other examples of additional marks that you should be able to see in some questions and how you should be able to think of them. So the first one is keeping quantities constant. In additional details, there'll also be a mark for stating other quantities that will be kept constant. Now, you don't have to think too much about this. Just look at the equation that you will be given and the quantities that will be present and the constants as well. 1 mark will be given at the start of the question and 1 mark here. So remember the first, defining the problem, I said state something that's constant. Well, here, you're also doing the same thing. You're also stating something that's also kept constant. So an example is from May-June 2024, question paper 5.2. You have that equation. You can see that all of those 4 variables are actually constants. And as I've said, the first constant will appear here for 1 mark under defining the problem. So keep k constant, as you can see. But the other constants will appear in the additional details. The best part, just include them when you say keep this constant, just include everything there such that you don't forget anything. And it's just really, guys, looking at an equation, taking whatever is constant and just plugging it in. That's all you have to do, right? So you're just looking at the equation, using the variables that will be present under the additional details. Or under defining the problem, you can just include all the constants when you write or when you're defining the problem. So I'm not going to be very strict. If you want to have your own additional detail section, go ahead, have fun, right? If you want to put it under defining the problem, go ahead, also have fun. Just wherever, as long as it's present. But I highly recommend you put it when you say keep this constant initially. You can think in the head and be like, what else am I keeping constant? And you get a D mark, right? So be mindful of that. Be careful in other questions where you might be asked to include things that will be kept constant that will not be explicitly stated in the equation. So this one needs a little bit of critical thinking. It came in May-June 2024, question paper 5.1, but you're given a cylinder being heated to a uniform temperature. The cylinder then was removed from the heat source and wrapped in an insulating material. So here, for example, the thickness of the material, right? It was just a matter of thinking about what other quantities must remain constant. So that we're supposed to keep the thickness of the material that we're insulating the thing with. But it's not present in the equation, right? You're saying keep this constant, but you're not seeing that thing appear in the equation. So that's why I'm saying be very mindful. It's not always all the time when you're going to have easy peasy equations where you just say this, keep this constant. Sometimes you have to think a little bit creatively, but you should be able to get almost all of these marks. Another point that you should get is a repeating experiment point. Always put this under the additional details and you should be able to get a mark. Guys, when I say these kind of things, write them down somewhere. Read them every single time before you write a paper 5. So this is a point that you must include almost every time when you put the additional details section. Please do include it and follow the template that I will give you below. The response. Repeat measurements of dependent variable for each value of independent variable and average dependent variable. So let me explain what that is. So an example was you had L as the independent variable and F as the dependent variable, right? Some experiment. We won't go through what the experiment was about. But your two things, L is the independent variable and F is the dependent variable. So remember, you are measuring the dependent variable, right? So what this response says is repeat measurements of dependent variable. So repeat measurements of F because you can measure it multiple times. For each value of L, for each value of the independent variable, you have one independent variable, repeat how you measure F multiple times and then average F, right? In that instance, it's more accurate or it's more precise because essentially you're doing it multiple times over and over again. So you're going to get a more closer answer to the true value. So I repeat, It's been appearing in a lot of marking schemes recently, and I really hope that you include that. So repeat measurements of f for each L and average f. Repeat measurement of the dependent variable, that's what you measure, for each value of the independent variable and average the dependent variable. Guys, do you include that, right? Details with diameters. With diameters, you must be as accurate as possible. Hence, it is important to mention the following point to get better measurements. Normally, for diameters, you might use a calipers or micrometer screw gauge to measure the diameter. Just depends on the scenario. But you should say repeat measurements of diameter along the length of the rod or around the rod or at different points. So the keyword is repeat measurements of diameter, and you should then average the diameter. Whenever your question says measure diameter of a wire, cross-sectional area of a sphere, of a cylinder, for example, you have to always include this point. Repeat measurements of diameter along the length of the rod, around the rod, at different points, doesn't matter, and average the diameter, right? Also try to include the point where whenever you meet these questions that ask you to calculate the diameter, right? Okay. Methods to calculate variables or quantities in questions, usually these fall under additional details, but if you had already been following these lectures, you probably have included these under defining the problem. You probably have included this under method of data collection, so I shouldn't be too worried about you. But essentially what follows under this section, for example, methods to determine density, just saying mass over volume and putting the formula to calculate the density, probably get a mark. Method to determine frequency, we talked about this. T is equal to time-based setting times horizontal length, then frequency is 1 over T. Method to determine frequency can be measure time for many oscillations, then divide the two. Use micrometer or calipers to measure the diameter of conductor. If you have a diameter that needs to be measured, you know what to use. And area is pi d squared over 4. Method to determine resistance can be a method to determine resistance, V over I. Draw a little diagram if you may. Power is equal to V times I. Q is equal to IT. Those kind of things where you need I and then you measure T usually fall under additional details. But remember, there are other methods to get some quantities as well. Just be sure to include them all the time. I repeat, be sure to include them all the time. Magnetic flux density questions, for these kind of questions, the following point is always given. You must include it almost every single time. So measure B using a Hall probe, right? We always talked about this. I explained in the second video what's a Hall probe and how does it work. Or adjust or rotate the probe until maximum value. It's always an additional detail. The goal is for the Hall probe to be perpendicular so that we get the maximum possible reading. That's very, very important. Ensuring that the ruler is vertical. For experiments where the ruler is vertical, under additional details, you must always mention the method to ensure that the clamped ruler is vertical. And how do you do that? You correctly position the set square at right angles between the ruler and the horizontal surface, or you can use a plumb line, but highly recommend you use a set square. So a set square, you just take it, you make sure it's aligned with the mid rule and the surface as well. They make 90 degrees right angle, and that is going to be the method that you're going to use to measure extension, essentially, right? For example, again, for loud experiments, for example, in experiments when they sound, a common point that you might include is for loud experiments, you're going to conduct your experiment in a quiet room. A quiet room has less noise, so you can be able to have your sound actually heard much more, a little bit better in a quiet room. There are many other details really that are classified under additional details. But remember, all you need is 6 marks. So just try to include as many details as possible and you'll reach the limit and get all the marks that are possible. There could be other details you find in marking schemes that I did include. For example, experiments with temperature, for example. Method to ensure that the temperature is uniform. Use a stirrer. Ensure that the temperature is uniform in those experiments. Or other things that I myself didn't include. Just try to be very mindful when you're solving these questions. So I really hope that this was helpful. This concludes our video series, the end of question 1 video series. Question 2 will be coming soon, but I really hope that this helps you in preparing for your exam. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.